Hello, this is Luca, and welcome to another Samplesound music production tutorial. In this video, we will explore different techniques to create low-end background grooves for techno and house music. With background grooves, I mean low-frequency add-on loops that complete the kick pattern, like a techno rumble, but more rhythmic and percussive. Of course, this type of sound takes a backseat to the kick, staying in the shadows, like this one. So it's a background element, but at the same time it blends together with the kick and really adds something to the groove. So let's see what sound design techniques can help us with that. Some good starting candidates are obviously toms, bongos, and any low-frequency percussions, even other kicks. What we want to do with these percussive loops is to make them sit in the background, so low-pass filtering is definitely the first step, as it makes the sound darker and soften the transients. However, static filtering is usually quite boring, so let's add some modulation, like an LFO. We increase the amount of modulation, select a sawtooth waveform, swap the rate to synchronized, and then select an interesting rhythmic value. After that, we can do some basic EQ and compression. We use the EQ to boost the bass region and cut the ultra low end. Then some fast compression to keep the dynamics under control. Another very interesting modulation source is envelope following. This means that the filter cutoff will move accordingly to the volume of the incoming signal. The first knob sets the amount of modulation. With positive values, the filter will open on the attacks and close on the decays. Then we can adjust the attack and release values to taste, to make modulation faster or softer. Being this a percussive sound, the attack value in particular is very sensitive. Let's try with another example. If we combine filtering with transposition, we can actually apply the same concept to any kind of loop, with any frequency content. So, in clip view, we make sure that warp is on, then set the transpose value down an octave or more. Then we apply filtering and envelope following modulation as we did before. And finally, again, some basic EQ and compression. A different way to transpose down the audio is to use a frequency shifter effect. The Ableton stock plugin uses hertz values, not semitones, so we decrease the coarse parameter until we get a nice low-end sound. Then, if we want precise tuning, we can also adjust the fine knob with the help of a spectrum analyzer. As you can hear, the frequency shifter has a very different flavor if compared to simple transposition. But the key here is to get this cool, low-frequency groove without interfering with the kick too much, like it happens in these positions. To clean it up a bit, instead of simple sidechain compression, we could use Ableton Clip Envelopes, which are a very flexible way for doing volume modulation. In Clip View, we click this button, then select Clip here and Gain here. Now I make sure that the grid is in 16th. Then I use Draw mode to decrease the volume in the first step. I now make the envelope a bit smoother. Then duplicate it on every quarter note. And decrease the volume on some other steps as well. As you can see, this approach is much more flexible than simple sidechain, as it allows me to apply any curve and any rhythm. But we can go even more creative. For example, if we loop just half a bar of the original loop, you can hear that the resulting pattern is too repetitive. So we can use again clip volume modulation, but this time we unlink the envelope from the actual clip length. Unlink is a really powerful feature. It allows you to have a modulation of any length, no matter how long the original clip is. So we increase the envelope length to 2 bars and then draw the modulation. So now, this is a 2-bar modulation applied on half a bar audio, which makes the groove far more interesting. Usually, I like to start with a noisy sound. That's the texture that we want before applying filtering, so to get these nice low-end background grooves. If we don't have much of that texture in the original sample, a really nice audio effect to make it more noisy is the vocoder. This is the default preset on Ableton's vocoder. It has the noise option selected in the carrier parameter. Basically, the vocoder generates white noise divided in frequency bands. Then, it applies the rhythmic information of the input to each noise band, as if our percussions were playing the noise. The formant parameter is the key knob here, as it shifts down the frequency bands. This is a good result to me. To finalize the sound, we again apply the same effect chain that we used before. And this is the final groove. The concept of envelope-following modulation can actually be applied to any parameter of any audio effect in Ableton Live, thanks to the powerful Max for Live technology. In Live 11, you can find the envelope follower device directly into the audio effects. Let's place it first in the effect chain. This device reads the incoming volume signal and transforms it into a modulation source. As an example, let's replace the vocoder with a chorus effect. We now click on the map button in the envelope follower, then on the feedback knob in the chorus, which now becomes the destination of the modulation. So high volumes mean high feedback, low volumes mean low feedback. We can adjust the sensitivity of the follower, the rise and fall parameters, which are similar to attack and release in the auto filter, and also the modulation range. Please note that the position of the effects in the chain is not relevant to the modulation. So, if we prefer, we can place the auto filter before the chorus. In this case, we can even leave the low pass as static with no envelope following, because now it's the chorus that gives movement to the sound. So, we've come to the end of today's video. We explored a few different techniques to create some background percussive loops and get that nice techno feel. We've seen dynamic low-pass filtering, volume modulation, the vocoder, and all sorts of envelope following techniques to keep these rhythmic sounds down in the low end but not too static, and blend them together with the kick. So, I hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.